Hi, this is the 5-Minute Bible Talk with Reverend Kathy. Lately, we've been talking about how to interpret the Bible metaphysically. Today, we're going to look at another way of looking and cracking open the Bible and reading the stories. Gary Zukav, best-selling author, wrote a book called Soul Stories. And in their introduction, he talks about the Lakota people and their story of the white buffalo calf woman who gave them their sacred pipe. And a reporter one time asked a Lakota elder, "Do you think that this story is true?" And the elder says, "I don't know whether it actually happened this way or not, but you can see for yourself that it's true." So how do you see for yourself if something is true? It's not just through the mind and trying to figure it out, but does it resonate with the heart? Someone once told me that the stories in the Bible may not be real, but they are true nevertheless, because stories have a way of resonating with what we know within ourselves as being real, being true, explaining to us in a way about what the story is talking about, the human experience or the spiritual journey. True. So the stories in the Bible are true in that they echo the human experience. And how we break them open is by asking the questions. Rob Bell, best-selling author, again, speaker, and former pastor, wrote a best-selling book, New York Times bestseller, called What is the Bible? It's a great book, and in it, he says that he has been reading, studying, exploring, rereading, and rethinking, and giving sermons from the Bible for 25 years. And I, Rob Bell, find it more compelling and mysterious and interesting and dangerous and convicting and helpful and strange and personal and inspiring and divine and enjoyable than ever. He says that some people see the Bible as an outdated book of primitive, barbaric fairy tales that we've moved beyond. And then there are the folks who talk about how important and central and inspired the Bible is, but then butcher it with their stilted literalism and stifling interpretations. But he invites us to read the Bible in a whole new way. In Unity, we're taught that there are basically 3 ways that you can read the Bible: as a history of a people as they understood it and interpreted their relationship with God, a collection of moral teachings, and also a recording of our spiritual journey from the very first chapter of Genesis, where we're made in the image and likeness of God, to the very last chapter where we own our divinity with no sense of separation. We know we are one. But Rob Bell looks at it from the human experience, and he asks these questions. So why were these stories written down in the first place? And why have they endured? He goes on and invites us to question, what do these stories say about what it means to be human? What do they teach us about hope and love and pain and loss and forgiveness and betrayal and compassion? How do these stories help us to better understand our own stories? Can we find that story resonates within us, that we have a sense of what that is, that we've touched that pain, we've touched that loss, we've walked that path of forgiveness or compassion, we've experienced betrayal. So he says, when you're reading the Bible, ask the questions. And the very best question to start with is, why did people find it important to tell this story? Why did people feel that this story was important, that they needed to record it? And why has it endured through all the years and become sacred scripture? What was it that moved them to record the words? What was their experience, their aha moments that said, this is what I've learned, this is what we did, and this was the consequences, and this was the breakthrough, this was the grace, this was the love, the relationship between us and our God. And then he said, dig deeper, and he says, do some study, and said, ask yourself, what was happening in the world at this time? What was the container that held this story? What does this passage story, poem, verse, or book tell us about how people understood who they were and who God was at that time. And then what's the story that's unfolding here? And why did these people think it was a story worth telling? We come back to this. Why did they think this was a story worth telling? If you're willing to read and to ask the questions, you might find out that you may believe that the story isn't real, but it is so true and it resonates within you. I hope you enjoy this new way of looking at it. Have a great week. Blessings.